Welcome to Bug Buzz with the Bug Guy. I'm Todd Reichart. Winter has finally got its claws out of us and spring is on the way. Each winter, many different kinds of insects hibernate or go into a process called diapause here in our part of the country. Today we're going to spend a bit of time seeking out a few of those, and we can show you actually where they spend the winter. One of the ways to prepare your yard for the fall to allow a lot of the insect guests to spend the winter is after the leaves fall, pile them up against your yard. That'll give a nice insulating feature or a nice insulating layer like my neighbor here, Doug, has done. That invites insects like the seven-spotted lady beetle and wasp and other insects to come in and spend the winter safely. Then, of course, in the springtime, after everyone leaves and it warms up, it's time to rake them all up and put them in the recycling bin. My trusty dog Tempe and I here, we've been looking through the leaf litter for some of those winter insect guests. Now, hibernating as an insect is a pretty challenging issue. You've got to make sure you're in a place deep enough to stay insulated and protected from insects that may eat you or other organisms like centipedes or mice in the wintertime. One of the processes that insects use, and I'm going to show you one here in a minute, is a process called super cooling. It's actually super cool too. They have these amazing glycoproteins in their body that prevent ice from forming as low as temperatures as minus 24 degrees Celsius. So it is crucial for the insects to get deep enough under this leaf litter, and my neighbor Doug here does a good job of just piling up the leaves here to get the bugs a nice place to have a winter vacation. And as you look around here with me, you can start to see as I've been moving around, we've got some good old seven-spotted lady beetles. They love this thing, and if you like natural predators, the seven-spotted lady beetle is a good one to have around. And as I've been moving the leaf litter, there's lots of them coming out. I've also picked up a couple of other interesting guests along the way. Here's some seven-spotted lady beetles, and if I'm not mistaken, I had a stink bug in here. There he is, look at that, on the lid. All right, this is one of the insect guests that we had, and there she goes. Hopefully she has enough energy. One of the things about lady beetles is they have very large flight muscles. It takes a lot of energy to make them work, especially at this cooler time of the year. However, this guy seems willing and able to give it a go. There she goes. All right, now follow me, and we're going to take a closer look at one of the insects I mentioned earlier. This is a western yellow jacket queen, and she spends the winter down in the leaf litter. You can see they almost look like they're dead, but in fact, she is in a diapause state. Oh, crawling nearby is a little spider. Now, this particular queen is referred to as a foundress. It's their job to start the hive in the following spring, or the nest. So I'm going to scoop her out, and you can see she's a pretty beefy sized wasp. The queen themselves mate in the fall, and it's the act of mating and the fact that they start to produce those glycoproteins in their body that enables them to hibernate and spend the winter and not freeze. Functionally, every other wasp in the hive dies. So there's a lot of responsibilities on these foundresses the following springtime. They'll emerge, start flying around, and it's pretty much like that story about the little hen that did all the work by herself. The first part of the spring, the queen builds her hive, makes the cells, hunts the food, raises the babies. And once they're adults, then she can begin to be taken care of. And that's the process that will actually start the hive to get larger. Well, Tempe and I here, we're nearly 21 hours into waiting for our foundress queen to come out of her winter diapause. Let's take a closer look. Now, if you look carefully, you can see that she's expanding and slowly contracting her abdominal segments. And what that is analogous to is like insect exercises. Think about it in the springtime when you wake up, go outside and it's chilly, you do some calisthenics and you warm up your muscles. And that's exactly what this queen here is doing. One of the most important features that helps her survive is the deposition of these fat bodies in her abdomen. And the key to that is that will help her the following springtime right now. So when she emerges, she's got to fly around and start her nest, forage for food all on her own. And before any food shows up, other insects, she relies on those fat bodies to keep her going. One of the other interesting features about the wasp is, of course, they have this marvelous stinging apparatus. It's essentially a modified ovipositor or an egg-laying device. I read an article about an author who inadvertently discovered that the queens are still capable of stinging even when they're in diapause, and he put in brackets, personal observation, meaning he probably got stung. Now, one final note about the western yellowjacket. They're actually a very beneficial insect to have in your yard. And unless you're susceptible or can get a really bad reaction to a sting, or perhaps you have small children, I would suggest you try leaving the nest in the corner of your yard, as long as it's not in the way of people or dogs. They are predators by nature, meaning they're going to fly around your yard and pick up aphids and other insects to survive with. And in doing so, provide you the benefit of a biological control. So there we have it. The western yellowjacket and diapause. Thanks for watching Bug Buzz with the Bug Guys. I'm Todd Reichart. We'll see you next time.